Well, hello, friends. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to my channel. This is Cheryl. Thank you so much for being here today. And if you've been here before, you know I do a lot with the digital planners in GoodNotes 6. If you haven't been here before, that's what I'm going to be demonstrating today. This week's edition of planning in my GoodNotes 6 digital planner, I'm using my Apple iPad Pro with the M4 chip, 11-inch model, and my Apple Pencil Pro. So grab your favorite hot beverage. I've got my coffee here. I'm going to take a quick sip, and I hope that gulp didn't bother you too much. And I think I have something in my closet that's falling, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. So this is the week of October 20th, and I've got a few things already laid out. I've got my monthly calendar here. I've got some fall leaves. I've got my header of pumpkins getting into the fall season. These elements I created in Photoshop, and these were some pumpkins, and I added the numbers to them, and I think it turned out pretty well. I think the next time I do this in Photoshop, I'm going to make them a little bit bigger, but because these, for some reason, when I bought them in, they were really kind of small. So I think this file size of them was a little bit too small. So I think the next time I'll do it a little bit different, make them a little bit bigger. But stretching them out, they didn't lose any they're not too under pixelated, so you can still see them pretty good. And I can make them bigger in GoodNotes, and that's one of the things I do like about GoodNotes is the quality of the file. You don't seem to lose any of the quality. So a lot of these texts, this is one that I did in Photoshop. This one is one I did in Photoshop. This one here I actually did in GoodNotes. These are default texts that come in GoodNotes, so you can see that this shape here I did in Photoshop, but the text that I added is the default, two of the default texts here in GoodNotes. The leaves here, the border, that's Photoshop. And this I believe I either did this in Photoshop or in Adobe XD. And I do use a lot of the Adobe products. I do have a subscription, but they're coming out with some of the tools that you can actually use on your cell phone. So check those out on the adobe.com and see if there's some of the programs that allow usage for free. And I think you can download 10 images a month for free on the Adobe website. But again, I have a subscription, but be sure you check that out for yourself. So I don't want to be spreading false information. I do, as I said, I do use a lot of the Adobe products. And one of the ones I do like using now is Adobe Express, which is kind of a Canva competitor, and they're doing a lot of things with that too. And I think maybe one of these days I'll do a demonstration as to how I use Adobe Express in my creative workflow. But anyway, let's go ahead and finish out this month. The month is quickly coming to an end. So let's see what I have here in Elements. And if you updated your GoodNotes, you'll see some of the icons at the top has changed. And this smiley face now is where your elements live. So I'm going to see if there's anything here that I want to use. I think I'm going to use this one here. I kind of like this one. Let's see where I'm going to place it. Create something beautiful every day. And, you know, we are created to create. So some people say, well, you know, I don't have a creative bone in my body. Well, you can do things, some things that I can't do, and some things I will never be able to do. So don't sell yourself short is what I'm going to say about that. So let's see, what else do we have here in here that I can use that I don't want to repeat too much. See, I don't have a lot of things going on for this. What is this? This is the 1, 2, 3. On the 4th week, well, the 3rd full week, but the 4th week in this month. So we'll see. As I start to think about what I'm going to plan for the next month. And one of the thoughts that came across my mind is, over the last couple years, I've created a lot of my own elements. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a planner, a digital planner that just has elements in it. So that's thought came across my mind today. It's just to go through my files and see what elements that I like using that I could reuse, and revisiting some of those elements that I have used in the past. So that's going to be one of my projects coming up over the next few days and weeks. So let's see, I have, let's see, I can move that there, because I'm going to move this one over. Oh, I know what I did. I was working in this early and I turned this off. So make sure you're using a lasso tool and something doesn't move, check to make sure you haven't turned it off. And that's what I did early. I was working in this. So I'm going to move that over there, and I'm going to duplicate this. Actually, I copied it so I can. That's one of the things that with the new update is you can't duplicate more than one object. So I think GoodNotes needs to do something about that. And let's see, I've got I have EFAM, which is a Bible study on Mondays, and I have a Bible study fellowship on Thursdays. And so those are repeating appointments every week. And I think I want to do one more. Let's see. And I'll do this one for worship. I'll put that there. And then I saw an element that I want to use. I'm going to use these black and white I started to say snowflowers, but sunflowers. That's when you haven't had enough coffee if you're saying snowflowers or sunflowers. But anyway, it was a little hysterical that I thought about that. I'm so sure someplace in the world they've got snow, and maybe there are snowflowers somewhere, but not here in Florida. Right now, it wasn't 80 something earlier, so we won't have any snowflowers down here for a while. Let's see. I probably need to drink a little bit more water because I can hear my voice starting to crack. But anyway, okay, so that's pretty much it. I've got my currently reading, which is a book about wildflowers, but it's a Bible study, and exploring new ways to add elements into my digital planner. If you don't, I could say loving and watching The Voice. It's one of my favorite shows. I'm going to be in a craft fair, so I'm going to be I decided that I would make some stickers. And so that's kind of what I'm going to do. And let's see. One of the ones I'll show you, I have them in my planner. So I think I'm going to share some of these that I did these in Photoshop. So this is what these look like. So these are just shapes, and the sunflowers, I can't share that one because that's not my image, but these I can share in these. So I've got my devotionals, my favorite scriptures every day. So I think I'm going to do that, to share those. And I think those will be fun to share and at the craft fair. And I have some other things that I'm going to share as well. I need to go to the store and buy some frames. They have these little 4-inch frames at Walgreens. I've seen them, so I'm going to cut these out and put them in little 4-inch frames. And I took this picture at SeaWorld, and I think this was at Icon Park, at one of the aquariums at Icon Park. So I kind of like that. I'm going to share those. So as we think about coming to an end of the month, one of the things I like to do is I like to go and I like to review the week ahead and look at, well, actually, so when I get ready to plan next week, I'll look at this week and kind of look back to see what worked and what didn't work. If there's anything in here, any of these elements that I want to carry over. And I like using these Sterling ink calendars that she sends out. And a lot of it, she has free downloads. So check out her site, sterling.ink.com. And sometimes just looking over it usually only takes maybe a 5-minute reflection. And, how we can stay intentional, whether you're doing digital planning or analog paper planning. You want to choose a day and be consistent. And that's I usually try either Sunday evenings or Monday mornings to do that. I love drinking coffee, so I'll sit down with my brewed coffee and actually look and make it a ritual. And then, plan with a purpose. Block out time in your day. I know we were all busy and there's a lot going on in our lives, but pick a time that you can sit down with your calendar, your planner, whether it's digital or paper, and look at what's going on. And, I have found that since I've been consistently looking and either writing it in my planner, making sure that I have it on my calendar, and now I've tried to make sure that all my appointments are at least 2 places, on my digital planner and my paper planner. And the third place I've started using more is putting it in my phone. And that way I don't miss anything. If my husband comes and says, what time I'm going to be ready to go this place or that place, I can say, well, I have an appointment, or yeah, I'll be ready in 5 minutes. So it really is helpful. You got kids, put something on the refrigerator, make sure that it's visible to everybody, that they can see what each one of them have to do, their activities. And I know when our children were younger, with 3 boys, and they each had someplace to be, and there's only one of me and one of my husband, we were going to have to do double teaming a lot. So life is busy. I know that. So writing things down, putting them in your planner really does help. And to be consistent, stay focused, maybe a 15, 20-minute time block one day a week to make sure you have everything either written down or in your digital planner, calendar, however you want to stay organized. So that's really all I have for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate you being here. And again, until next time, ciao for now. Bye-bye.